So just in case you missed some of those reactions to issues of national importance, there you have it. And we'd also like to hear from you as well. I mean, building any nation is meant to be collective responsibility. But we're shifting gears, as you have seen, to issues around security. Yes, the president met with the service chiefs yesterday and some issues came out, even though some of the nitty-gritty, the fine details of that meeting might not be out just yet, but at least we have some insight into what exactly played out. And to shed more light and discuss that, we have joining us via phone Mr. Abuh, who's a former Assistant Director, Internal Security, Addis SSS, is also a fellow International Institute of Professional Security. He joins us via phone this morning on the program. It's great to have you, Mr. Abuh. Now, ever since the president last met with the service chiefs, there have been various security incidents. And I mean, a lot of Nigerians will be wondering, what do you think will be top on the list of discussions at yesterday's meeting?
Well, thank you. Thank you very much for the opportunity to be here. As we all know, the president has been away for quite some time, notwithstanding the fact that he was receiving briefing while there. They have come to tell him face to face what they have been doing. Certainly the successes they have recorded in some areas, and then particularly the upsurge of surrender that we have had in the Northeast, and then the challenges that we still have. We still have so many of our pupils who are in hostage. They will certainly brief him what they are doing and challenges that is likely to hamper them, and what would they be doing to sustain the tempo that we currently have. Certainly they will discuss those issues, and areas that they believe that government must still come in to empower them more so that they can do more than what they are doing. They will certainly discuss those issues. And the president will also discuss with them his own expectations based on the expectations of Nigerians, whether we like it or not, notwithstanding whatever we are having. We are still having a lot of challenges. You can see what happened in Jos area. That area is still tense. Benue is still not yet as peaceful as should be. Even Zamfara is not as peaceful as it should be. And so there are so much for them to discuss. Based on their own discussion from their intelligence board, certainly they would have met even before they met the president. So I think their discussion will center around those areas. And of course, let us not forget the big one that just happened of recent, the impact of the Taliban's takeover in
Afghanistan.
Afghanistan. Right. What will it have on our own in our own situation? Because is it going to embolden our own terrorists to intensify actions and so on and so forth? These are issues that they will discuss.
Interestingly, Afghanistan is about 6,000 kilometers away from Nigeria. But I mean, with the way the world is right now, you can't rule out some of the effects of what played out right here in Nigeria. Yeah. So the NSA spoke about some of the issues that were raised, and a statement he made has been generating a lot of reactions, saying the president will not leave office a failure, and clearly that implies that at least there's a marking scheme of sorts, perhaps from Nigerians, and you reference those expectations. Nigerians have expectations. So if you could maybe let's project the minds of Nigerians, what do you think is that marking scheme that Nigerians would use to score the president security-wise, particularly security, from now till he leaves office?
Well, our masking scheme is obvious to every Nigerian. We want to be able to travel across this country without being waylaid by kidnappers. We want to move anywhere we want to go to without being waylaid by unknown gunmen, without being waylaid by terrorists or bandits. We should be able to go to the farm and farm without being accosted on the farm or massacred, without our women being raped. I mean, those are our expectations. Now, the president has been there for the past 6 years, yes. And Nigerians don't seem to have believed that we have achieved so much in the area of security. But one thing I want us to know is that the challenges that we have, apart from our own internal factors, There are so many factors in the international community that is worsening our security challenges. If we take a typical example of what happened in Afghanistan, you can imagine a Ragmatak soldier of about 70, overpowering 300,000 U.S. trained soldiers with logistics, all manner of logistics and intelligence infrastructure backing them. But that don't give us one message that if the people are with the fighting forces, the people are committed to it, they will succeed. You can see that, and that is why Nigerians must wake up now to support our fighting forces instead of allowing the local populace in the theaters of war to have sympathy for the insurgents. That is where the danger is. That's the lesson I want us to learn from. So Nigerians are expecting the president use every strategy. I mean, there are some of the challenges that we have we need to move in with political solutions. Nigerians have always talked about, if you look at the challenges that have been in Plateau, it has been there for over 20 years. And it's because we've not been dealing with it the way we should. And it has moved towards Benue and so on and so forth. And even Zamfara is not a place that started today. I remember in one of my presentations, I think 2012, in one of the security conferences in Abuh, the Commissioner and Attorney General of that state was there. And he raised this issue. And up to now, they have not been able to, then they were not able to deal with the situation intensely, and it has metamorphosed to what it is today. So
that's the issue, Mr.
The president must put everything in place to ensure that Nigerians have adequate security before he leaves office. It's not just by talking. Yeah. We want to see it by walking.
Now, but for some of the things that you have said, especially given the fact that, as you also highlighted, there are some of these issues are happening in pockets of areas all over the nation that have been on for decades from what you have just said now. I'm wondering, is that a responsibility for the federal government to take on, or isn't there anything the states' governments or the various localities themselves can do to stem this tide?
You see, everybody has a responsibility. Everybody, and okay, let me say, government at all levels. Well, when we are talking about, for instance, unemployment that has degenerated into security threat, how much are the states been? The states over the years have been doing to encourage, providing enabling environment for investment that can provide employment. I give you a typical example. We were told, and I have been to this place practically, Ajakuta was 98% completed as 1984 or thereabout, and successive governments have allowed it to degenerate. At that time, there were also about 7 steel rolling mills across Nigeria. I'm just using that as a single example. And all the Oshogbo, Alaja, Katsina, I think Jos, and so on, all of them went down the drain. And so we have not been doing that much over the years. However, we are saying that the failure of the past, we should not allow it to continue now. And that's why each time people tell me...
Sure, Mr. Abuh, that doesn't happen. That's the question now. Just as you have said, some of these issues have gone on for years, for decades.
Yes.
And this it predates 2 governments. It predates 3 governments, at least 3 different administrations in some cases, especially for one-term governors and all of that. So how do we... it's already a full-blown flower, as Malcolm would say. How do we arrest the situation when most of these things, most of the issues are sentimental? As opposed to even, not even talking about the insurgency and all of that, which is more philosophical. How do we deal with some of these issues without the people having a buy-in?
That is exactly what I am saying. For instance, we are looking at 2023. Will Nigerians, by their own contribution to bringing back sanity into their system, turn back money bags? Would they not Is it not better for us to suffer for whatever pittance they want to give us and elect credible leaders that we can sit down with and say, look, let us take our country from this level. Let us begin to do the right thing. Are we ready? I'm talking about the electorate now. That is everybody's responsibility. Even the current challenges, the security challenges that we have, we must be ready to get ourselves organized in our various communities. I've said this before. If we look at the success that the military achieved in the Northeast in collaboration with the Nigerian, the civilian JTL, you discover that this is something that we should take seriously. But how many of us are willing to do that? I've been saying this, that all of us, at whatever level, government aside now, must be ready. Let the hunters get themselves organized. Let the vigilante get the selfless service at this time of our challenges. And government at all levels, local government, state government, must now look at what basically are the requirements that will make people a bit comfortable in their lives and begin to do it. Instead of sharing money, instead of giving them pittance, instead of them hiring talks, we must grow out of this if we think we want to make progress.
Okay, Mr. Abuh, we need to go on a break now. When we return, we'll wind down with some of those other issues that came up, especially when you look at the fact that the NSA says that the president is ready to make some changes. If he is, what changes do you look forward to being made, as well as some other issues? So please stay with us. Concluding moments with Mr. Adams Abuh. So in terms of changes, I mean, they say change is the only constant thing. What are the changes you look forward to, maybe the president, state governors, whoever is in charge of security? What are those changes you're looking forward to them making so we can at least tie those loose ends better?
Oh, I think the president knows, because the whole security structure is in his hands. Governors cannot make changes, or neither local government, but it is only the president. And based on the report that he has, or he will be having, whoever he thinks that he needs to change for us to be where we want to be, he is free to do that. But let me say that let us not think that the changes are the only thing that brings improvement in services. We should also continually, especially be futuristic in terms of our intelligence estimate for the future. What are we likely to require in 2023, in 2025? We should begin to do that now and begin to work on them. And what kind of training our security personnel are supposed to have, and what kind of collaboration are we looking at from the civil populace? How do we begin to articulate it? Have we had that program, and have we delegated the appropriate government agency like NOAA to begin to propagate that policy? Those are things that we should begin to do. But and let me add this: every Nigerian must be involved in one way or the other, selflessly for that matter, because if you are looking for anybody to pay you for it, you are not yet ready for the kind of challenges that are with us. You must be committed to it.
And I think that's a fantastic place to land, Mr. Abuh. Would like to thank you so much. It's been a pleasure speaking with you, Mr. Adams Abuh. As a former Assistant Director, Internal Security at SSS, also Fellow Institute of Professional Security, that's International Institute of Professional Security. Thank you for your time this morning.